Today we are talking about your solopreneur website. Do you really need one? Well, yes and no. If you're just starting out, testing your business idea, or don't have the cash flow yet, don't stress over it. But as your business grows, absolutely. A website gives you credibility as a real business, a place to send prospects to see your work, lead generation tool for magnetically attracting new clients. A website brings you a lot of value. But hold on, we are going to dive in deep and talk about why you need it, how you can get yours built, and how to leverage it for your success. Welcome to the Solopreneur Life podcast. Here, you'll get the strategies, insights, and mindset you need to succeed. Do what you love and get paid well for it. Take control of your time in life and enjoy the freedom you can only achieve as a profitable solopreneur. As a business owner, there are a couple of things you need to focus on in order to get your business growing. First, you need to validate your idea. This is especially true if you really aren't sure that your idea will sell, or if you're not sure you have the right market. So it's testing your idea. Can I make this idea fly? Can I attract buyers? You also need to start getting clients. It's another way to validate your idea. If people love your idea, but no one is willing to exchange money, you still don't really have a business. And finally, you need to get the money flowing. So these three things are by far more important than having a website, especially from day one. You've heard stories of people who they have a business idea. So what do? They go immediately and they rent an office space. They go buy a desk and a filing cabinet, these days maybe not, a big computer, and all the equipment because they want to look like a business. But they often do this before they ever validated their idea. So when you're setting up your business, when you are beginning to grow your business, or when you're starting a new idea, you need to start with validating your idea. Do people like it? Are they attracted to it? The idea of a product, is that attractive to them? Are they willing to pay for that product? And can you get the money flowing? Without these three things, you don't have a business. So before worrying about your website, if the website is holding you back, focus on these three things. These are your priorities. And the nice thing is you can do all of these things online. You can, without a website, you can do these in social media. You can join forums and communities. You can reach out to people individually through email, direct mail, messaging. So you can do all these core business validation tasks before you ever have a website. Then once you're sure that you're ready to commit, yes, you can go back and build your website. See, most of these things that we've been talking about, validating your idea, beginning to sell even, you don't have to have a website for them. You can do the entire growth arc, attention, relationship, and conversion without a website. So that's what I want to help you understand. You don't absolutely have to have a website to begin making money online, to begin selling, to launch your business. So all of these things are possible without a website. But once you've committed and once you've got some money flowing, once you've established and validated your business idea, absolutely you need a website. And here's the thing. I think this is what's important to understand. If you think of a website as it's just a brochure, then of course you're going to believe it's not absolutely necessary to have it. But today, there's so much more you can do with your website. You see, it's not a brochure. It's an online presence. So whereas back long before computers, we would go into a store. And this is why many people want to go rent a storefront. They're thinking about the old style business and they want to look professional. Well, in the old days, when you had a business, you had a storefront, and people came into the storefront to learn what you had. And they might browse your shelves, and then they might come and ask you a question. Well, today, that's what your website does. Only instead of being on a strip mall or in your small town or in your city, you are able to sell to anyone in the world. A website is an international presence, but it operates in much the same way. And here's the thing. Not only are you out there where you can be found, where people can browse your pages, explore your products, and ask you questions, you are also able to build a presence, to build a reputation. The website makes you look professional. It makes you findable. And actually, it elevates your brand. Now, let's dive into that for just a minute. Elevating your brand. Why is that? Why does it make you look better to have a website than not to have a website? Well, it's all about it, like in the old days, having a storefront. One time, I was a teenager, and I was coming out of a local store, and there was a guy in the parking lot, and he had the trunk of his car open, and in the trunk were a bunch of boxes. He was selling his product from the back of his car. And I didn't think anything about it. I liked he was selling a box of pots and pans, and I was like, well, I'm going to need those soon, so I went ahead and bought a box. Ironically, when I told some of my adult friends about that, they rolled their eyes as if I had been scammed. Now, what was that impression? Without a storefront, he looked like a scammer. He didn't look credible. Now, he had a product, he had a sales pitch, he had, the ability to sell, but he didn't look credible because he hadn't gone through the step-by-step process of looking like a business. Today, you don't look like a business from having an office. It helps depending on your business, but you really look credible, you really look professional if you have a website. Now, fortunately, you don't have to spend a ton of money on a website to get that credibility. You simply need to build a website, a presence online where you tell people who you are. Your homepage is like your sign. It hangs out there, where people can see it. They click on it and they say, oh, I see what you do. It's looking at that top of the banner spot on your homepage. That's like your window where people can look into your website and kind of see what you do. If they like what that looks like, they may scroll down. They may actually enter your website and look at your different pages. It's a very similar thing when people land on a website. But without a website, people wonder, I don't know, is this just a hobby? Are you just selling me something out of the back of your car? Are you a real business, and can I trust you? So having that real business, having the website, makes you look trustworthy, which means you can sell higher dollar products, you can sell more easily, and you can usually sell without actually having to talk to people because people will come to you, rather than you always having to go out to them. Think about that for a minute. Marketing becomes so much easier when your website does the work for you. That's what having funnels is all about. That's what years ago people were talking about automation because that was such a new technology. Today, it's old hat, and if you don't have it, you don't really look credible. That being okay, we settled that. You do need the website at some point. You probably don't need it today if you don't have it yet, but you don't want to look like that guy selling boxes out of the back of his car. So you're going to build a website. Now, let's talk about money, because this is the second question I often get about having your own website is how much does it cost? Well, there are three things that you absolutely need to have. Hosting, which is $15 a month. For that, I recommend SiteGround. Your domain name, which is about $30 a year, and that's on GoDaddy. You can use other sites to find your domain name, but GoDaddy is my preferred site. And you need a theme, which is what gives structure to your website and the appearance. Don't go with a free theme. You don't need to chintz on this. This is your business. And honestly, for $50 to $100, you can buy a premium theme that looks very, very professional. So we're talking let's say $100. For this, I recommend Genesis, and I like Parallax Pro, but you can use any theme you like. Just look for one that looks like a professional website. So we're talking a one-time cost of $100, an annual cost of $30, and $15 a month-ish for hosting. That's not really that much money to have a business. So many people, like I said, want to go out and buy a room full of office equipment, which probably costs $2,000, but then they'll question this small amount of money to build a website, which is where you really find your credibility. Nobody on the other side of the world knows you have an office. Everyone knows you have a website. So invest in the website. Don't worry about what your office looks like. Let's get things in balance, shall we? Now, the next question that I often get asked is it hard? Especially if you don't consider yourself very technical. So I'm going to tell you, it's getting easier and easier to use the technology and build your website. I actually don't use a lot of advanced tools. I use a self-hosted WordPress website. So I host a WordPress website on SiteGround. I put the Genesis Pro theme on it, and then I build my website from there. It is so easy. And the nice thing is, all of these sites have instructions on the website. So if you can follow instructions, if you can follow a recipe, you can build a website. It really is that easy. And if you have questions, there are so many people out there who can help you. And if you happen to be a member of the Hub, there's a whole collection, a whole community of people who you can tap into and get help from. So, is it hard? You might feel challenged. You might feel stretched, but you can absolutely build your website. It is not hard at all. So, what are the steps? What do you need to go through to actually build out your website? Here's your mini checklist. First, you have to buy your domain. Start there. Then set up your hosting. You're going to go into Cpanel next and create your self-hosted WordPress website. So that's easy. You push a button and it kind of auto-populates. So once you're in your hosting provides you a link to your Cpanel, and that stands for Control Panel. Inside there, you'll click a button to create your WordPress website. Now, once you're inside there, you upload your theme. Hopefully you will have already bought that. You just go in and say, okay, this is the theme I want, and you follow the instructions that website gave you, your theme and builders, to build out your pages and the way your website looks. Once you're in there, you can set colors and fonts and all kinds of different things that make your website look unique. So the theme is the structure. You go in and set the look and feel. You upload images or videos to make it look like your business. Then, once you've got that set up, and by the way, that can be done in about an hour, maybe 2 if you're slow. It's so easy, guys. Next, you're going to start creating your pages. Now, one of the things that I often tell people, you can start your business with a one-page website. It's really that simple. Just one page is all it takes to look credible. But as your business grows, you're definitely going to want to have extra pages. A 5-page website that I recommend is you've got your home page where you tell people who you are, what you do, and who you serve. That simple. The next page people are definitely going to want is a product page. That's where your products or services are outlined and people can figure out, okay, are you the right person for me? I want to explore you more. Next is your about page. That's where you talk about yourself. But remember, always talk in terms of what you give to your prospects. It's about you, but it's also about your audience. So make sure you get an about page. Tell them why you're the person they should choose to do what you do. And then your contact page. The contact page has a form on it where they can reach out to you. If you're comfortable putting your phone number or address on there, by all means do that. Again, it makes you look professional, like a real business, to have actual contact information. And then the fifth thing, which is optional, is your blog. Once you have these 5 things in place, you look as credible as any business that you've ever heard of. So Microsoft or Nike, they have very similar pages, a very similar structure. It's just you coming up with the copy for your pages, with the language that describes who you are and what you do. You just need to be comfortable selling in words on your page. And that's really the secret of a website. Now, there's one more thing that I want to add. We've already talked about you need to set up your hosting, create the WordPress site, add your theme, customize it, create your pages. If you need extra functionality, you can add plugins. And this is why we use wordpress.org, not wordpress.com. WordPress.com is hosted for you by WordPress, and it's very limited in what you can do. By building your own self-hosted WordPress website, you can add whatever functionality you want, and you do that with plugins. There are plugins for everything, and actually if you click inside your website, there will be in the sidebar a link for plugins. Click on that. Search for whatever you need, or go online and search for the functionality you need, and you will see the plugins that work. Just check to make sure that they're updated regularly. Look at the reviews to make sure that they actually work for people before you add them to your website. And don't be afraid to pay for premium plugins. Cheap plugins can break your website, and you want to have as few plugins as possible because they do slow your website down. So look at the plugins that you want, look at the functionality that isn't integrated automatically into your website, and use plugins, but get the highest quality you can so your website always works. Now, you don't have to be a techie to do all of this, and I promise you, you will become more technical as you build out your digital business. So never let that slow you down. In the end, that's half the fun. Your website will become a sandbox. It's a place where you can stretch, where you can play around, where you can test your ideas before you offer them to your clients. And in the long run, that's going to help you build a stronger business and start making more money. So, do you need a website? By all means, you need a website, but you may not need it this minute if you are just testing out a business idea. Validate your idea first. Then, as soon as you're solid and you feel like you know what your business is about, build your website. You'll be glad you did. Today's podcast comes to you via Catherine Aragon Media and Solopreneur Life. And what I want you to do right now is, if you love what we're doing here, if you love the Solopreneur podcast, then I want you to go to solopreneurlife.com. And I want you to look for the hub, solopreneurlife.com/join hub. This is the community where you can network with other solopreneurs, and you can actually hang out with them in our Facebook group. Join us for monthly training and get access to an entire portal of recordings and training materials. So, if you're ready to really grow your business, don't stop with building your website. Join the hub, because that's where success happens.